morning, everybody, and welcome to Are We Prepared for the Future? The last program we have talked about renewable energy. Do you remember that the World Energy Outlook of International Energy Agency estimates that in 2040, wind and solar energy will generate more than half of the planet's electricity? It is incredible. But today we are going to talk about a different kind of energy that is so controversial. It is nuclear energy. It is amazing and eco-friendly way to generate electricity. Scientists say that it is the cheapest because a huge nuclear power plant can generate electricity for different cities at the same time. However, can you remember disasters like Chernobyl or Fukushima? It is worth taking this risk. For that reason, we have brought two experts who can solve our doubts about nuclear energy. Let's welcome Dana Castrillon, PhD in chemical engineer with a master in nuclear energy, and Camila Gomez, PhD in physics with a master's in renewable energy. It is a pleasure that you can come to our program to help us to understand if we are prepared for the future. I would like to start asking about what is nuclear energy and how it works?
Thanks, Alejandra, for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here. Nuclear energy is obtained by manipulating the internal structure of the atom. We can get nuclear energy in two ways, by fusion and by fission. In nuclear fusion, the atoms fuse to form a large atom and thus release the energy. And in the case of the nuclear fission, the atoms pull apart to form smaller atoms to release the energy. The nuclear power plant uses the fission one to produce energy. Inside a nuclear power plant, there are nuclear reactors which produce nuclear energy. Most of it consists of heated water. I want to emphasize that it has to heat the water until it generates vapor. Then a turbine transports the energy generated by the water heating to transformer to get a voltage and thus generate the energy.
That's amazing, but I have more doubts about it. What kind of uses does it have?
First of all, good morning. It is a pleasure to be here and answer your question. Nuclear technology has multiple applications that are essential in our daily lives. Although the best known are medicine and the production of electricity in nuclear power plants. There are many other in fields as diverse as agriculture, industry, or art.
That's amazing. I think it is fine to have a lot of opportunities to exploit nuclear energy. However, I am very concerned about different disasters that happened in the past because nuclear energy can have overwhelming benefits, but when a disaster occurs, the damage is devastating. I know, Dana, that you have been working in Fukushima in 2010 during the earthquake. I would like to ask you, what was the mistake in that moment and how can we prevent this kind of disaster?
Yes, you're right. I've been working there. Well, as we can see in 2010, there were a lot of disasters. It started with the earthquake, next with the tsunami, and finally, all previous triggered the accident of the power nuclear plant in Fukushima. More than a mistake, it was something unexpected. When the earthquake was detected, the units 1, 2, and 3 turned off automatically. When the reactor shut down, the production of energy stopped. Due to the damage to the internal power grid, the emergency diesel engines begin to operate normally and in order to supply the electricity to keep the reactors cool. Don't forget that instantly a tsunami occurred and this caused a total shutdown in a nuclear plant. Subsequently, it started hydrogen explosions that destroyed the upper lining of the containment building. That's why the authorities started to evacuate the people to prevent the fear of radiation leaks. We don't know exactly when a disaster can occur. It could have been surprise or not. So, if the accident has already happened, the first thing we need to do is evacuate the people who work inside and also the one who live near the place.
It was a horrible accident. I think it is not right for citizens to face that kind of situations. Scientists and governments must have ensure a quality and security lifestyle. Well, by other hand, I can believe that nuclear energy is the cheapest and the most efficient energy. Camila, can you explain us why this kind of energy is so clean and eco-friendly?
Of course, nuclear energy is clean during its generation. In fact, most nuclear reactors emit only water vapor into the atmosphere. Neither CO2 nor methane nor any other gas that pollutes or contributes to climate change.
Wow, that's incredible. I have an interesting question from our audience on Facebook. Edwin Pauker asked Dana, what do nuclear plants do with harmful waste?
Well, they can be recycled or buried in a especially cemeteries, but we can change its natural characteristic. In this way, we can make it more simple. And it's important to know that this process needs to be performed by an expert. Maybe in the future, it will have a product for making it recyclable.
I think it's okay. Well, I have another comment from a follower on Twitter. Anabela Munoz comments that scientists say that by 2050, we will have been using nuclear energy for 10 years. And his friend Eder, who works in a nuclear plant in Spain, mentioned that by 2030, every country will have a nuclear power plant supplying electricity to more than one city. Is it true, Camila?
That is true, Alejandra. A high amount of energy can be generated with just one plant due to the great power of nuclear energy. And it is an almost inexhaustible source of energy. Thanks to the current uranium reserves, they will allow us to continue producing the same energy as now for thousands of years. Coupled with this, its production is constant and no factor interferes, unlike many renewables such as solar, which cannot be generated at night, or wind, which cannot be generated without wind. Its production is enormous and constant for hundreds of days in a row. So with this information, we can affirm that approximately by 2030, every country will have a nuclear power plant supplying electricity.
Whoa, I think that nuclear energy gives us many opportunities, but we must ensure our safety. I think that our interview resolved many doubts about nuclear energy. Thank you very much for being here and helping us to know if we are prepared for the future. See you next Tuesday. Thank you.